Right, good morning ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Thai Talk with Dan. Today we have an extremely unusual story that goes into the dark arts over here in Southeast Asia, where black magic is widely used. You may be a believer or you may not, but a lot of people, especially over here in Isan, where I live, do believe in black magic. So our next story is from a gentleman that believes that he was cursed by a Cambodian girl and later cursed again by an Indonesian girl. It's a very intriguing story, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say. So without further delay, let's jump into this black magic Southeast Asian story.
他越南女朋友叫他把佛牌丢掉，
对，他整包就包往大海抛出去。他说那个越南的吓他降头，他原本是正常的，然后那时候我见到那个当事人，他是完全没办法讲话的，他想讲话他是而且他说他吃饭就好像在吃头发一样。
Good day, Dan. I love your channel and I've been following you for some time, and I have a long story for you. Now I'm not sure if you will use this story or not, but either way, it's all good, mate. I have added a photograph of me and my ex from Java, Indonesia, but please keep the photo private because she's one of those influencers nowadays and she's very well known and I don't want problems with her. My grammar is terrible, so I am using voice to text. Now I lived in Cambodia for 1 year. I also lived in Thailand for about 3 years, 5 years in Indonesia and 6 months of the Philippines. I got many crazy stories from my past, and my story is unique, and I hope I never go through this S again, because I'll be effed if I could handle it again. So, about 14 years ago, I went to Cambodia for a holiday. After a few days, I finally come across the most beautiful woman I've seen since being in Cambodia, and I was like a kangaroo. I had to have her. She was absolutely perfect, a real glamour. And then she introduced me to her friend and I couldn't believe it. Wow, I have never met someone that looked so horrible in my whole life. She was extremely fugly. She was very short and fat, like a little round ball. She wore dirty clothes with stains on them. Her hair looked exactly like a troll doll. She had acne scars plus new pimples. It was all over her face. The good-looking girl invited me to have dinner with them both. So as we ate, I had to remind myself not to stare at this woman, at this poor unfortunate creature. But I couldn't help but wonder who would date this girl. So after a few days with this beautiful lady, I had to end it. She was a little bit. She offered me her friend, but I politely declined. For the next few days, everywhere I went, I ran into her. If I was drinking in a bar or eating in a restaurant, she would be across the road pointing at me. She was also bothering the hotel staff about me, so I decided to move hotels. My last night there, I went out on the vodka and got blind drunk. I awoke the next morning to the sound of construction and I had the worst hangover possible. And when I rolled over to my side, I was shocked. Lying next to me was the smiling little troll. Good morning, she said. while smiling at me. What the hell are you doing here? And I exploded. Get out, out, out. I yelled at her. Now it didn't take long and she was out the door. Within a few minutes, I got a text message from the beautiful lady. She wanted to know why I performed a little bit of cunnilingus. She wanted to know why I performed it. Now, I'm not sure if you can say this on YouTube, but I liked her bottom. So I jumped to my feet and I ran to the bathroom. I washed my mouth out with mouthwash and brushed my teeth a few times. Then I had a cold shower. What the hell did I do last night? So I quickly packed my bags and moved to a new hotel. Everything was fine. I would smoke on the balcony regularly. And one night I had this strange feeling that I was being watched. So I glanced around and looking into the night, I couldn't see anything but the next cigarette. I spotted somebody crouching behind some bushes. It was the beautiful one watching me. I was shocked. I'm not sure if it was that night or the next night, but whilst watching something on my laptop, I suddenly felt sick. I had the urge to vomit. I got off the bed, and as I stood on my feet to turn to walk to the bathroom, I suddenly felt like I got kicked in the crown jewels by an invisible person. Now the kick was so powerful that I stood on my tippy toes and buckled over, holding my private parts. Now I had been kicked in this area before and it felt exactly the same. So as I stood up straight, holding my private parts, I then felt what I can only explain as being kicked in the lower back. Once again, I have been kicked in the back and it was the same exact feeling. The kick was so powerful, it launched me forward a few feet. I held my arms out in front of me to stabilize my balance. I then had the sudden urge to vomit, so I tried running to the toilet, and as I got to the bathroom, I am unloaded everywhere, on the walls, on the floor, on the toilet, and in the toilet. It was like the Exodus film. I power spewed until nothing was left. I was so weak and tired that I couldn't even make it back to my bed. I basically collapsed on the floor. Now I vaguely remember crawling towards the bed and pulling off the blanket and wrapping it around myself. I woke up several times and I tried to yell for help, but I was too exhausted and it was only mumblings. I went into a very deep sleep, only to be woken up by something pushing into my mouth. He told me to eat. He then opened a bottle of water and began to pour it into my mouth. He told me that the hotel staff had not seen me for 2 days and they were worried, so they come to check on me. They helped me into bed, told me to eat more coconut, gave me more water and a sandwich, and then left me to rest. Which I did for a few days. After plenty of water and coconut and food, I began to feel good once again. Now, for the next 4 years, every 6 months, like clockwork, I would get sick. My crown jewels would be very painful and my back felt like it was broken. This would leave me in tears. I would feel so exhausted that I would fall into a hibernation state. Now this would last for 12 hours, after which I would wake up, have a shower and have something to eat, water and a cigarette, and then go back to sleep for another 12 hours. Now this would last 4 days, on repeat. It was a cycle that I had to get used to. In Australia, I went to see a specialist about this in Perth and in Sydney, but they couldn't find nothing wrong with me. Now it also felt that they thought I was making all of this up. At the end of the day, I moved to Jakarta, Indonesia, where I fell in love with a Javanese woman. Now after some time, the sickness come on again. I had to explain to her not to worry, that this was what I was used to. I told her not to bother me and that I needed sleep, and it was the only way for me to get over the pain. She became very concerned when I had tears in my eyes. She would wake me up from my slumber to bath me and feed me and give me water. I had to remind her to leave me alone and just let me sleep. Now after I became better, she wanted to know about my sickness. I explained how it all began, and she was convinced that black magic was involved. And to be honest, I just laughed. I thought to myself that this was stupid, but she insisted on going to Java to see somebody about taking the curse off me. So I decided to appease her. When we arrived in her village, she took a photo of me and her, cut some of my hair, and then took some of my hair downstairs also, and a t-shirt of mine. She said she needed all of this to give to this witch doctor, or whatever you want to call her. And after this, I didn't get sick again. So, after I broke up with this woman, I ran into her again and we became friends. After a few days of hanging out, she told me she had to go to Bali to meet one of her friends. I later found out it was one of her boyfriends. Now she would repeatedly text me while she was in Bali, and she would tell me about how much I needed her and that she was the only one who could take care of me. Well, I didn't need her, and I didn't want her to take care of me, and I told her this. So after texting her this, I suddenly got sick again. I vomited, and my crown jewels got sore again. My back was sore again, but it wasn't as powerful as before. When my ex got back to Jakarta, she awoke me with text messages telling me to come to her apartment, but I told her that I was too weak to go anywhere. She told me that you'll be fine, just come to me and you will feel better then. But I wasn't going anywhere, but strangely, I did feel the urge to go. So after walking to her apartment, I started to feel okay. Then 10 minutes of being with her, everything was good again, and I have not been sick for 10 years. Now, I often think about what had happened, and I'm 100% sure that she had replaced the Cambodian curse with another curse on me. And I was obsessed with this woman, even though I knew she was a liar and a 304. Someone that I would never date. But for some reason, I was madly in love with someone that I wouldn't even spend 2 days with. This love happened after she took me to her village.
I put a spell on you.
Now, I do also believe that she did take away this Cambodian curse, but somehow reused it years later to make me feel as if I needed her. Love magic or black magic is illegal in Indonesia, like black magic in Papua New Guinea. It is the worst, I've been told, and it can be dangerous. It can make people go crazy, where they even die. I never believed in black magic before, but it is used throughout Southeast Asia, and this explains why people fall in love and are reckless with their money, and they don't seem to think with a straight head. This is my only explanation. Cheers, Dan, for reading my story, and the picture is below.
Because you're mine. Oh.
Right, guys, let us know what you think about this story down below in the comments. Some people do believe in black magic, and especially over here in Isan, they are a big believer of it. And every single Thai woman that I have dated also believes strongly in black magic. Are you a believer, or do you think this guy has got some serious medical condition? Please let us know down in the comments below. And if you've got your own story about black magic or something very unusual over here in Southeast Asia, I would love to hear from you, and I will share it on the channel. Get your emails sent in to thaitalkwithdan@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and stay safe out there. Ciao for now, and bye-bye.